So let's just talk about numbers here for a second, because Kelly's from Arizona, that has 11 electoral votes. Shapiro's from Pennsylvania, that has 19 electoral votes. And Walz is from Minnesota, that's 10. So who do you think, or which state rather, matters the most in this election?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was terrible at math, but I definitely can tell you that 19 is more than 11 or 10. I feel very safe in acknowledging that. So you always want to go to states that count more, right? 19 electoral votes is still a very big haul of electoral votes. And that's why I tend to think Josh Shapiro is the pick. I think we could argue that there are paths to 270 electoral votes for Kamala Harris that don't include her winning Pennsylvania, but man, there aren't that many. And I think outside of her inner circle, I'm not sure you could convince anyone that they are plausible that she could make. Winning Pennsylvania, to me, seems like a thing that has to happen for her to have a chance to win. It's not a guarantee that she'll win, but I think it's the most important state in the country for her, bar none.
Every strategist, pollster, commentator that I've talked to have said historically VP picks don't matter. They can only hurt, not really help. A, is it different this time because of the historic nature of this election? And B, what is the number one goal of Harris's VP pick?
So let me answer your question, the second question first. I think the number one goal of any VP pick is do no harm. Right? You don't want to make things worse when you're adding someone. Plus, it's her only big decision that she gets to make as a candidate for president, right? She can talk about all the policies she believes in, she can talk about the things she's done as VP, but as the presidential nominee, you really only get to make one big choice, and it's this. So you want ultimately it to not be a problem. Do I think the VP pick could matter? I would say it matters both good and bad at the margins. I think the truth of the matter is most people vote for the top of the ticket. I always say if you're a big-time recruit, for example, in college basketball, if you go to the program and you really like the assistant coach, but you hate the head coach, you're probably not going to go there, right? And so it can be additive if you like the assistant and you like the head coach. Maybe that makes you a little bit more likely to go to that school. That's how I think of VP picks. They're the assistant coach. You're probably not making your final decision based on that, but could it matter at the margin? I do think it could, particularly when we're talking about a race in Pennsylvania. That's, it's a 1-point race. It's a 2-point race, depending on what polls you see, but it's going to be very close. I don't think that if Kamala Harris picks Josh Shapiro, all of a sudden she wins Pennsylvania 60-40, right? That's not going to happen. But if it's a 50-48 race, could he make a point difference? Sure, he's a popular governor of the state. He was the attorney general prior. He's been elected 3 times successfully in Pennsylvania. He's at 58, 59, 60% job approval, including 4 in 10 Republicans, at least back in May, who say they approve of the job he's doing. So, yeah, I think it could make a difference at the margin. That's the key.